The Nintendo Switch is my favorite console to ever exist. Not to mention the fact that it has a massive game library that is just over the top with so many titles that I would consider a must play. So today what I want to do is I want to work on a tier list of all the Nintendo Switch exclusive titles that I think are a must play, ranking all the way down from A, B, C, D to never played. And this is not an original idea. Everybody's doing this right now. I got this idea from Beat 'em Up Wood, and I think it's pretty great. If Wood actually happens to see this video, I'm sure he can forgive me simply because I bought his Satisfy grip for the Switch too. But I think this is a really fun idea to just kind of recap the last 8 years with the Nintendo Switch and all the fun that I've had with the system. Now, there are a handful of these games I have to say that I've never played, so it's going to be an interesting list for sure. But I'm just really excited to talk about all the great experiences I had on the Nintendo Switch system and recommend some of these games for people before the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. So right off the bat, I can safely say I've never played 1-2-Switch or Snipper Clips. They just never interested me. I always thought they kind of just looked like tech demos for what the Switch could do. It wasn't something I was willing to spend money on and actually pick up, but they're there. I'm sure some people, I've especially heard Snipper Clips is something that people have had fond memories of, but for me, just something I never bothered touching. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this was actually the first game I bought for my Nintendo Switch, and this obviously goes in the must play. This game shaped the Nintendo Switch as one of the greatest consoles to ever exist. This game was phenomenal. Yes, it came out on the Wii U, but everybody thinks of this game as a Switch game. It is just remarkable, and the fact that it runs on the Nintendo Switch was such a feat. I don't know how they managed to do it, but it's such a magical game, and one that I constantly think about as far as what the best Switch game is. I think about Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is always something that comes to mind immediately when I think of the Nintendo Switch. It feels like it is just the mascot for the Nintendo Switch system. I absolutely love it. I cannot get enough of this particular game. I'm really looking forward to replaying it on the Switch 2 when it gets the graphical update. That is something that really excites me personally. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is another must play. It's a fantastic game. It's the best-selling Nintendo Switch game. It's a culmination of everything Mario Kart. It feels so good to play. I'm really excited for Mario Kart World, but I had so many hours put in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It is such a fun time, and it's just a game that everybody can get behind. Everybody has played Mario Kart at some point and enjoys playing Mario Kart, so whenever people come over, it's just the first game that we end up booting up. So just a really fantastic game to play on the Nintendo Switch. ARMS. I never played ARMS. I played it like a couple times at like a couple demos at like stores and stuff, but I never actually like bought ARMS and played ARMS myself. So to me, ARMS is gonna have to go in the never played. It was okay when I played it demo. I was never that impressed, so I never ended up picking it up. Unfortunately, I think it could have been something really cool for Nintendo. I just don't think it was like realized enough and enough time went into it. So for me, I have to put it there. But Splatoon 2, I'm going to put in the A category. I really enjoy Splatoon. I think it's just a really fun concept in general. I really enjoy the covering the map and the combat. It's a Nintendo take on a shooter that is still like kid friendly, and I really enjoy the concepts that Splatoon has. So for me, Splatoon 2 is a A-tier game just because I enjoy Splatoon so much. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle is another fantastic game. This one I'm going to put in the A category. I really enjoyed this first attempt to do something different with Mario. Giving Mario a gun was super novel. Giving the property over to Ubisoft to work on and doing the Rabbids combo was really cool. I really enjoyed this version of Mario, and it's a really fun kind of just strategy game that is just so different from anything else Nintendo has actually done. I really enjoy it. Pokken Tournament. I had Pokken Tournament. I enjoyed Pokken Tournament. I'm just not a big fighting game person. So I played it simply because it had the Pokemon skin on it. I love Pokemon. If you know me, I have a separate channel that is dedicated to Pokemon. For whatever reason, this game just couldn't land, and I think it's because of how fighting oriented it was. I wasn't a huge fan of this particular game. There's fun to be had with it, especially if you have a buddy to do some couch co-op with and like battle each other and do that kind of stuff. But overall, it wasn't something I put a ton of time into. I think I had less than 10 hours on this particular game. Fire Emblem Warriors, I would be willing to put in the C category. I think it's a fine game. It's just not something I've ever been particularly interested in. I definitely prefer Hyrule Warriors. Some of the later editions of the Hyrule Warriors series are much better, in my opinion, than the Fire Emblem Warriors was. I think it's fun that Nintendo's kind of branching out and doing this with some of their IPs, but for me, Fire Emblem Warriors goes in the C category. Super Mario Odyssey is fantastic. I absolutely love Super Mario Odyssey. It is just a perfect 3D platformer, in my opinion. I think the only game that comes close in the 3D platformer realm is Astrobot. I do honestly prefer Astrobot. I think Astrobot's a bit more fun and creative, especially with the way they use the PlayStation 5 controller. But Mario Odyssey is just like right under it as far as 3D platformers go, and it is a perfect game on the Nintendo Switch system. Honestly, I haven't played it since the game came out, way back when the Switch launched, so I'm kind of keen to see what the game looks like when the free update for the Switch 2 comes out, because I think it's going to be really, really awesome to go back and play Super Mario Odyssey again with the updated graphics and everything. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one that I haven't played. There's actually quite a few games on this list that I haven't played, simply because I just wasn't into the series at that time. It's a game I want to go back to now that I have played Xenoblade and try, but it's something I haven't had the time to go back to and play. And the same can be said for Bayonetta games. I actually haven't played Bayonetta. I really, really want to play Bayonetta. It's just something I haven't gotten around to getting back to and trying. I've heard such great things. I'm hoping that the Switch 2 versions get announced, because I'd really like to play the Switch 2 versions. I've heard, especially with Bayonetta 3, that the Switch 2 that the Switch versions of the game actually have some graphical issues, so I'm hoping a Switch 2 version or a free update comes out for them that fixes some of the frame rate issues, and I really want to hop in and get back to these games on the Switch 2. There's a lot of games on this list that I can safely say that like I want to go back and play once the Switch 2 comes out, and that I plan to pick up once the Switch 2 comes out. Kirby Star Allies, I think it's a C tier game. It's an okay game that there's other games that are just better. It's not a bad game. It's something that you can enjoy if you're a Kirby fan, just not something that I could put above in like the B or the A tier. Definitely not even nearing the must play category. As far as Labo is concerned, I always thought Labo was super gimmicky and not something that I was all that interested in actually participating in, so I left Labo alone. I didn't touch it throughout the entire life cycle of the Switch. So I just kind of I haven't even considered trying to get Labo at any capacity throughout the Switch life cycle. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I wish I could say I played this game. It's another one of those games that's on my list of need to play. Honestly, let's make another category for this. Add row below. Need to go back to. That's what this needs. This is what this list needs. It's a need to go back to list, because there's games that I plan to pick up when the Nintendo Switch 2 drops, and that is one that is definitely on the list. I'm going to throw Bayonetta in there and Xenoblade, because I'm going to go back and play these games on the Nintendo Switch 2 when I can pick them up, maybe on sale or something at the holidays, stuff like that. Hyrule Warriors, that's going to be a C. This is not the best Hyrule Warriors in my opinion. Later on this list, we'll get to the best Hyrule Warriors that I really enjoyed. It's still a good game. I still enjoy it. It's just not my favorite of the Hyrule Warriors series. Pokemon Quest. This might be a hot take. I loved Pokemon Quest. I thought it was such a fun take on Pokemon. And I really wished they would have gone ahead and continued updating this game. Overseas, in China, I believe, it still is getting updates and still gets stuff. I think this is such a fun game. It is so cool to go around to these different little islands and go and battle with these like Minecraft looking Pokemon. It's just a really fun game. I enjoyed it quite a bit from what I played on the Nintendo Switch. Sushi Striker, no. Mario Tennis Aces, there just wasn't enough to this game. I feel like the Mario sports games in general really suffered on the Nintendo Switch. They just weren't as good as they used to be. I think Mario Tennis Aces was fine. There's fun to be had, but it's just not, it's not something that I ever put a ton of time into or plan on going back to personally. Not something I really enjoy all that much. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is awesome. Love this game. I'm going to put it in A, and that might be a hot take for a lot of people, but I really enjoy that they took this like gimmick from Super Mario 3D World and made it its own game, and it's full of fun puzzles and stuff. I really enjoy this, not to mention that they made it co-op that you can play with somebody else. I really enjoy Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for what it is. It's a really fun, and it's a cheaper game. It came out at a lower price. It wasn't a full 60 price game. You were able to just pick it up and go through this game and have a good time solving the puzzles as Toad. Really like the concept for this particular game, so I'm gonna put it in the A. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, this is the special edition. Again, I'm gonna put it in the need to go back to list. Labo, another Labo, no. Super Mario Party sucked. This is not a good game. I really just, as far as Mario Party games are concerned, it is a mid game at best. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, I'm gonna put an A. I really enjoy the Let's Go games. I think more than most people in the Pokemon community do. I think they were beautiful as far as remakes go. The graphical style that they chose to go for with this remake was fantastic. Absolutely loved how it looked. I wasn't super big on the catchy mechanics, but the catchy mechanics were a cool little gimmick for this particular remake. They didn't bother me as much as a lot of other people. I thought it was fun, especially when you had to like battle the legendary Pokemon in order to then catch them. I thought that was really cool. I just really enjoyed these remakes for what they were, and the graphical style is probably the best graphical style that we got out of a Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm putting these in the A category. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I don't think I really need to talk about this a whole lot. This is an must-play game, and I'm really hoping to see a Nintendo Switch 2 version come out for this game. Potentially that includes all the DLC. It's the culmination of everything Smash. So many cool guest characters. It is the game that I believe generated the most hype throughout the Nintendo Switch lifecycle. Every direct, people were speculating what character was coming to Smash next. It is just a love letter to all things gaming, and I absolutely adore it for that reason. Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I don't think it's a bad game. If you enjoy 2D Mario is one that is just, they kind of just replicated this formula from when the new Super Mario Bros. Came out on the DS up into this game. They just kind of kept reskinning the game and re-releasing the game, and it just kept the same kind of thing. It's not a bad game, it just didn't feel different from anything that came before it in this game series. So it was kind of just a reskin every time. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, and I do enjoy it, which is why I'm willing to put it in the B tier. It just wasn't innovative in any way. Tetris 99, I'm going to put in B. I really like Tetris 99. I thought it was a cool way to incorporate Tetris into the Nintendo Switch library. Really fun to just see if you could win against 99 other players playing Tetris. Really unique take on Tetris, and Tetris is just such a classic in general. I'm going to have to put that in the B tier. Yoshi's Crafted World. I almost want to put it here. This game is incredibly easy. It's a super easy game to play, but it has the Nintendo charm, and it's a fun enough platformer that I think I'm willing to put it in the B tier, despite the fact that it is so easy. I mean, this is like one of the easiest games I've ever played, but it's so fun for what it is. Another Labo, that one I haven't played. Cadence of Hyrule. I think I'm willing to put this in the must-play category. I am an absolute lover of Zelda. I think Zelda's fantastic, and the fact that Nintendo was willing to give this IP to an indie developer and then focus so much on the rhythm and the music of Zelda has always been so iconic with its music, and having a game entirely focused on the music, everything you do in the game revolves around the music. I absolutely love Cadence of Hyrule, and it is a game that I cannot recommend people play enough if you are a fan of Zelda. Top-down Zelda, rhythm-based, and just focuses on the music of the game. It is absolutely fantastic. Super Mario Maker 2. Oh. I'm gonna put it in must play. If you enjoy 2D Mario, you kind of need to play Super Mario Maker 2. If you like Mario in any capacity and you've always wanted to design your own levels, this is literally the perfect game. It is so good, and honestly, a Switch 2 version with mouse controls sounds so appealing that I almost want to put it on the list twice in must play and need to go back to, because it is a freaking awesome game, and mouse controls would make building levels even better. So if we don't get a Switch 2 version of Super Mario Maker 2, I would love to see Super Mario Maker 3 come for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's just fantastic. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a must play game. I could not put this freaking game down when I picked it up. It is fantastic. The Fire Emblem gameplay mixed with the like school and choosing your house that you then go through the story with. There's 3 different ways to go through and play the game. There's so many different variations of the story depending on the choices you make throughout. It's just a fantastic addition to the Fire Emblem library. I absolutely love this game, and there's so many hours you can sink into it, just depending on the story paths that you take, going back and playing through with a different house, making different decisions. It's so good. I absolutely adore this game, and honestly, if they put out a Switch 2 version, I'll probably go back and play it again. Astral Chain is one that I wanted to play that I never got around to playing. It looks fantastic. The idea is fantastic. I think it's really cool. I would very much like to go back and play this game, and maybe it'll get a graphical update on the Switch 2. So I'm going to put it in the need to go back to category. Kirby. This particular Kirby game I'm going to say is a D. It was fun enough. Like, you could hop in and play it for a little bit, but it's not something you're going to sink a ton of time into. Zelda Link's Awakening is an A tier game. It's an A tier game. I loved this game. I beat it super quick. I literally just grinded this game when it came out. I love the chibi art style that they decided to go with. The only thing I think holding this game back is the graphical issues that it had on the Switch. There were some stuttery bits and some blurry textures on the Switch. So hopefully it is getting a free update for the Switch 2, and hopefully all that is resolved. But it's a fantastic remake of an older Zelda game that I genuinely cannot recommend enough. Ring Fit Adventure. I really like Ring Fit Adventure. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this game, and I really like the concept of like working out. Nintendo's always had these games where you like focus on like working out. As far as where I'd put it on the list, I think I'm gonna go B. I think it gets a bit repetitive. But it is a really cool concept and really well executed. I enjoy it a lot, and I still play it from time to time, but it is I don't know that the gameplay can warrant me putting it in the A tier category, but I definitely think it's B for the way they executed it and how it's done. It is so cool, honestly. Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm going to put it in must play. I think some people might disagree with that, but I personally think Luigi's Mansion 3 is fantastic. It is really, really awesome, and I think I enjoy it so much because Halloween is my favorite holiday. I absolutely love spooky stuff in general, and while, yes, it's got the Nintendo level of spooky where it's just kind of kiddie and dumbed down, I still just enjoyed it so much. The hotel was such a cool way to introduce the different themes for Luigi's Mansion. And the Gooigi was really cool for puzzle solving. The boss fights were really unique and interesting. I genuinely loved this game. And the thing about this game is I'm someone that can notoriously get tired of a game very quickly, especially those longer games that approach, you know, the 25 to 30 hour mark. This game was the perfect length. I got to the end and I was like, this was just right. I wasn't tired of it. The different themes kept me engaged the whole time. I absolutely love Luigi's Mansion 3. So for me, this is a must-play game. Mario and Sonic, C, it's fine. The Stretchers, I never got around to playing. Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm going to put in the A tier category. These were the first mainline Pokemon games to get released on the Nintendo Switch. And while they still had the kind of traditional route system, the first time I went to the wild area and got to experience the first step into open world Pokemon was probably one of the highlights of me playing Pokemon over the years. Pokemon's one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite franchise on Nintendo platforms. So that was genuinely going to the wild area for the first time, being able to just run around it and explore it. It was just that first step into this is what I've always wanted Pokemon to be. So for me, these games have to go in A tier. I absolutely love these games, and it has one of the best Pokedexes in Pokemon history. All the regional forms and all the new Pokemon that were added are fantastic. Absolutely love all the Pokemon that were added in Galar. So for me, Sword and Shield's definitely an A tier. Brain Training, C, it's fine. It is what it is. I never played this particular rhythm game. Wasn't that interested in it. I don't even know why Pokemon Home is on this list, but Pokemon Home's a D. It's a mid app. It does its job, but it's bad. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I'm gonna give it a B. It was a good remake. I enjoy Mystery Dungeon quite a bit. It's not the Mystery Dungeon I wished we got remade. Explorers of Sky would have been the remake I would have wanted, but I do enjoy Mystery Dungeon, so having the rescue team come back was actually really cool. Animal Crossing is revolutionary. This definitely goes in the must-play category. Absolutely phenomenal game. Came out during the pandemic when everybody was stuck inside and couldn't go out, and Animal Crossing came out at just the right time for everybody to be able to go outside virtually and create their own island, be able to visit their friends on their island. It was a way for us to come together and interact with one another in a time where we couldn't go outside and do it in person. It's definitely one of the games that set the Switch up for such a successful life cycle that there's no way you can think about the Switch without thinking about Animal Crossing to some capacity. Good job. I have no idea what this game even is. It's never played. Xenoblade Chronicles is another one I need to go back to, just haven't. Clubhouse Games is just fine. It's fun. There's a ton of games you can play on it. It's a good time. I enjoyed what I played of it. It's not something I ever really go back to and play, but it is really cool. Jump Rope Challenge, I'm gonna put in C. It came out and you literally just sit there and do a little jump rope thing with the Joy-Cons. It's a fun little game. It's nothing special, but it's worth going in the C category for what it was. Pokemon Cafe, D. It's a boring puzzle game. Paper Mario Origami King, I absolutely hate this game. It is not a good game. I literally played a couple hours of it, and the way that the grid, like the circular grid system works for the combat was just so gross and unfun to do. I actually ended up returning this game, and I'm not somebody that normally returns games. I'm someone that usually keeps them for the sake of having for the collection. I hated this game so much I took it back to GameStop and got my money back. I just did not enjoy this game at all. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I'm gonna give it a B, simply because I wish I could give it an A, but they didn't do anything for these games. They're literally just emulations of the older games. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy, they're great games. I enjoy all of those games, but if they would have just updated them so that they worked better on the Nintendo Switch and looked better on the Nintendo Switch, I would have probably been willing to put this game in A. The other thing that holds this game back is that it was a limited release. It was super weird that they did a limited release for this, but because of that, I'm just gonna have to put it in B. Kirby Fighters 2, D. Super Mario Bros 35, I think I'm gonna put this in B. I think it was a cool idea, similar to Tetris 99. Mario Kart Live Circuit, I think this was cool. It just never really, it's not practical. That's I think the biggest problem with Mario Kart Live Circuit. If you don't have a good place to play this game and set up the track, it's just not a practical game to play. I still have it and I enjoyed what I did play of it. It's just not a game that is easily played, and I think that's the biggest downfall to it. So for me, Live Circuit it's really cool, but it just doesn't really live up to what I wanted it to be. Honestly, I think what they could have done with it is if they made the cart smaller, and made it so it was easier to set tracks up, it would have been a much better experience. Honestly, it would have been much cooler if they made it smaller and easier to set up the tracks, but because of the size of the cart and the size of the gateways, it's really difficult to set up in a normal house setting. It doesn't work well on carpet. You kind of need hardwood or cement to use it properly. So I wish I could put it higher because it's a really cool idea. It's just I can't. Part-Time UFO, never played it. Pikmin. I've never played Pikmin. It's a game series that I'd like to go back to. I'm thinking Pikmin 4 is one. I'm going to put this in the never played. Pikmin 4 is the only one I would say I need to go back to. Never played it, but I really want to get into the Pikmin series. Cadence of Hyrule, not Cadence of Hyrule, Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is going into the A tier. I really liked this. The only problem with this game is it's not canon. They did some like alternate timeline warpy nonsense that kind of ruined the story of this game, but the way they did the backstory to Breath of the Wild with this game was really cool. Another issue with this game is the frame rate sucks. It plays pretty poorly on the Switch system, so I would like to see this get an update, and I would definitely say this is a game you should definitely try out if it does get an update on the Switch too. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury I'm gonna put in must play, and not even just for Super Mario 3D World, which is a great game on its own, but Bowser's Fury was such a fantastic addition to this game. I 100% Bowser's Fury and had such a good time with it. As far as like 3D Mario experiences go, Bowser's Fury is up there as one of my favorites. I absolutely adored that little add-on to this game, so I cannot recommend Bowser's Fury enough, and I'm willing to put 3D Mario World in the must-play category for that reason. Pac-Man 99, I'm going to put it with the rest of the 99 games. It was a Battle Royale Pac-Man game. It was cool if you like that kind of stuff. I enjoy Pac-Man. I had a good time with it, but I don't think it's anything higher than that. New Pokemon Snap, I'm going to give an A. For an on-rails, just kind of different kind of take on Pokemon, I never played the original Pokemon Snap, so I didn't have like a frame of reference for what this game was going to be. But as a Pokemon fan, this game is freaking awesome with all the secrets and the different ways to interact with the Pokemon, to get legendary Pokemon to show up to take pictures of. This game was freaking awesome, and I pumped so many hours into it, finding all the secrets and stuff. I really enjoy New Pokemon Snap. It is one I definitely recommend everybody try. Famicom Detective Club, I never bothered playing. Miitopia, I actually really enjoyed Miitopia. I think it was a fun game, a fun spin on the Miis. Go ahead and create your Miis and give them different stats and fighting styles and stuff. I really liked it. You could create your own team of heroes from different games by making Miis of them. I had like Aloy on my team. So there was a lot of cool ways to enjoy this game. I really had a great time with Miitopia personally. Game Builder Garage, never played. Mario Golf, I'm willing to put in C. I did not enjoy the story mode of Mario Golf, but it is a Mario sports game that I go back to and play with friends quite a bit. I do enjoy Mario Golf quite a bit. It's not the best Mario Golf, but it is a fun enough game. I'm willing to give it a C over Mario Tennis Aces that sits in the D. Zelda Skyward Sword, I'm going to give it a B. I think the thing that holds Skyward Sword back is the control scheme, and yes, they did update this game to have the improved controls with a controller or play it with the Joy-Cons compared to how it was played on the Wii. But for me, it's still awkward enough that I'm not willing to bump it up to the A category. It's still a fantastic game if you're a Zelda fan. I'm just not willing with how it plays to bump it up to the A tier category. Pokemon Unite, I'm gonna put an A. This is a really fun take on Pokemon, a Pokemon MOBA that you can just have a good time with. Every time I go back to Pokemon Unite and hop in, I absolutely love my time with it. It is such a fun game. It's not something that I play actively all the time, but every once in a while I'll get the itch and I'll go back and play Pokemon Unite, and I absolutely adore it. The fun of Pokemon Unite is how quick the games go compared to other MOBAs like Smite and League of Legends that take, like half an hour to 45 minutes to play a standard game. Pokemon Unite's 10 minutes, and that is the perfect amount of time for a game like this. Absolutely love it. WarioWare is a game that I've never been interested in. It's not something that I really ever care to hop into, so I never picked up WarioWare. It always seemed like a game that you put a couple hours into and put down, so I wasn't willing to drop $60 to play WarioWare. Metroid Dread is a game that I need to go back to. I've heard such phenomenal things about it, but I genuinely had never played a Metroid game until recently, so I never picked it up. It's a game that now that I have played Metroid, I really want to go back and play Metroid Dread. It looks fantastic. Super Mario Party Superstars. I think I'm going to put this one in B. It was definitely an improvement over Super Mario, whatever the other one, Super Mario Party. That one sucked. It was a definite improvement. It's not the best Mario Party on the Switch, but it's definitely a good Mario Party on the Switch. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl are B. As far as remakes go for Pokemon games, they're fine. They're just fine remakes. They are literally just remakes without any significant changes. So for me, I love these games, and I think that's why they're higher on this list than a lot of people would put them. I started Pokemon with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, so for me, this was just kind of taking me back, and I have the nostalgia for these games. But for a lot of people, these games tank because they were just remakes of a game that was questionably one of the worst releases for Pokemon. So, for me, I'm gonna bump it because I enjoy what Diamond and Pearl were, because that's where I started, but I understand they aren't the best Pokemon games. So for me, it's a B tier game. Big Brain, it's fine, it can go in C. Legends Arceus, I'm going to put in a must play category, because Legends Arceus did so much to reinvent the wheel for Pokemon that it's such a good game. I absolutely adored the single player nature. As far as the battling was concerned, I didn't necessarily like the new styles. I appreciated that they went and tried something different with this, but it wasn't something that blew me away as far as the battles were concerned. But the open world nature of this game and going out and catching the Pokemon, filling out the Pokedex, and just exploring the world was so enjoyable to me that I wish the new Pokemon Legends games, Legends EA, that's coming out later this year, was like Legends Arceus. I loved that game so much that I would love to see them improve on that formula. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're doing that at all with Legends EA, and we'll see what Legends EA holds for us. But I think Legends Arceus is a must play from the original Nintendo Switch. Kirby, I wish I could say I played this. I heard this game's phenomenal, but I haven't played it. It's on my go back to list. Because of the fact that I've heard such good things as far as 3D platformers go. I've heard a lot of people sing the praises of Kirby in the Forgotten Lands, but I just never ended up getting around to it. So it is on the list. I'll probably pick it up with the Switch 2 version, but I really do want to play that particular Kirby game. Switch Sports, I'm going to give a B. I really enjoyed Switch Sports. I didn't like that they got away from the Miis and they have these different 3D avatars, but I did enjoy this game. The volleyball is probably my favorite in this. Badminton's really fun. It's just a really good progression of the Wii Sports that we had. Again, I wish they kept the Miis. I think the Miis are kind of the identity of these games, but I did really enjoy Switch Sports, and Switch Golf is super fun on there, so I did enjoy that quite a bit. Mario Strikers, D, mid-game. Fire Emblem Warriors, again, I guess I'll put it here with the other Fire Emblem Warriors. It just wasn't anything special. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a must-play game. This is where I got into Xenoblade, and it is fantastic. The story was super interesting, super engaging. Honestly, what it reminds me of that I'm playing currently is Expedition 33. The story is very reminiscent. I think there might have been some inspiration there for Expedition 33. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 kind of takes the traditional RPG, like turn-based, but makes it more action-based, and I absolutely loved that. And just the gameplay and the story itself is phenomenal. And Xenoblade does this really cool thing that I don't know how they managed to do this on the Switch hardware, but they make these vast open worlds that are so interesting and fun to explore. It's just very impressive that the games work on the Switch system. So for me, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a must-play game, and this is the reason why I want to go back and play the other Xenoblades that I have not yet. Kirby Dream Buffet is fine. I had fun with it. I'm going to put it in C because I did play a fair bit of it. It's kind of like Fall Guys with Kirby. It is fun enough, but I wouldn't say it's anything better than like a mid game. Splatoon 3 is a must-play game. I love Splatoon 3 on the Switch. It's fantastic. I already talked about Splatoon 2 being great. Splatoon 3 is just an improvement on Splatoon 2, and it feels so fun to play. Absolutely love Splatoon, so I'm hoping that if they don't do an update for the Switch 2, that we get a new Splatoon very soon, because I really like Splatoon and how Splatoon functions on the Switch, especially now that we have mouse controls. Splatoon's going to be even cooler. Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, I'm going to put B. I don't think it's near as good as the original Mario Kingdom Battle, but it is still a fun take on Mario. Like I said, I feel like they kind of lost their way a bit from the original Mario & Rabbids with this one, but I did really still enjoy Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It didn't hit the same as the original, and I don't necessarily know what didn't hit the same about it, but it just didn't feel quite as good as the original. Bayonetta 3, it goes in the need to go back to category. Like I said, I have not played the Bayonetta series, so it's one I want to get back to, but I just haven't yet. Pokemon Scarlet Violet is an A tier. I'm going to put them in A tier. Yes, they have graphical issues. Yes, they have a lot of problems, but as far as open world Pokemon games go, these are awesome. I love these games. I have 1,000 hours on Pokemon Violet, and I have 200 hours on Pokemon Scarlet. They are just great games. I love them, and graphical issues aside, I've put so many hours into them, and I love the formula. If they can take what they did in Scarlet and Violet and improve upon it in a Gen 10 game on the Switch 2, I genuinely cannot wait for what that has in store for us on the Switch 2. I love these games. Fire Emblem Engage was one that I never actually picked up. I'm not even going to put it in the need to go back to. I just never picked it up. The way that it looked compared to Fire Emblem Three Houses, I felt there was enough in Fire Emblem Three Houses that I just wasn't super interested in going to Fire Emblem Engage. Maybe down the line I'll pick it up if they put out a Switch 2 version of it, but there was something about it that kind of turned me off from how it looked compared to Fire Emblem Three Houses, so I just never got around to it. Metroid Prime Remaster is a must play on the Switch. This was the Metroid game that I just recently played and beat, that I got into Metroid with. I never played Metroid before this, and I am so happy I got into it with this game. This game was rebuilt from the ground up for the Nintendo Switch, and it is a phenomenal experience. I absolutely love Metroid Prime Remaster. It is so much fun to play, so I cannot recommend people play this game enough. And honestly, I think the reason we haven't seen Metroid Prime 2 Remaster and Metroid Prime 3 Remaster is they're waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 to come out, so that the way those remasters have access to the mouse control function that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have. That's my theory. I'm hoping we see those games get remastered, because I will immediately pick them up for the Switch 2. Another Kirby game, I'm going to put this in the C as well. A lot of these Kirby games just kind of fit here, where they don't hit as hard or get revered as much as something like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. So for me, I'm just going to leave it in the C tier. I didn't love it more than anything else I played on the Switch, but I think it's a fine game and definitely fun to be had. I don't even know what this game is. Never played Advance Wars. Tears of the Kingdom. Must play. I'm one of the few people out there, I think, I can acknowledge that Tears of the Kingdom is a better game than Breath of the Wild, but for whatever reason, it didn't hit as hard for me as Breath of the Wild did. I love Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's a great game. I think it can be, especially for Breath of the Wild being such a new take on Zelda and feeling so overwhelming, Tears of the Kingdom felt even more overwhelming than Breath of the Wild did, which I think could be a serious turnoff for a lot of players. And for me, I think that's the reason I revere Breath of the Wild so much more. I am really keen to go back and replay Tears of the Kingdom with the Switch 2 version of the game, because I think there is a lot of fun to be had with that, and I'm keen to see if my opinion changes on which is better once I get to play that version of the game. But I will say that as of right now, Breath of the Wild is the Zelda game that I prefer in that style over Tears of the Kingdom. But again, that could change when the Switch 2 version of the game drops. Pikmin, like I said, I haven't played. Pikmin 4 is the one that I want to go back and try, because I've heard that's the best way to get into Pikmin. So for me, I'm going to add Pikmin 4 to my need to go back to, and the other Pikmin games are going to go into the never played category. Everybody Switch, no, I never played that one. F-Zero 99, I'm gonna put in the B tier with the other 99 games. Detective Pikachu, I never bothered picking up. I had no interest in the first Detective Pikachu. I had no interest in this Detective Pikachu. Wasn't interested in it at all. It just doesn't look all that interesting. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was fine, but the gameplay style for Detective Pikachu is not something I was ever that keen on. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, I actually never picked it up, and I'm very disappointed in myself for not picking it up, but it is something I want to go back to and pick up a little bit down the road. I enjoy 2D Mario, and this looks like the Odyssey of 2D Marios, where it takes 2D Mario and finally puts a unique spin on it that the new Super Mario Bros. Did not. That I really am keen to get back and do Wonder. WarioWare, no. Never picked up Mario RPG. It wasn't super interesting to me. I never played that one. Never played Mario and Donkey Kong. Not super interested in that franchise. Princess Peach Showtime, I did not pick up. It didn't look that fantastic to me, and I didn't hear fantastic reviews about it. It may be something later down the line I pick up, but it's not something that I'm willing to put on my need to go back to list. Endless Ocean is something I did not play. One that I need to go back to is Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I've never played it on the GameCube. I've heard fantastic things. My one buddy says it's like one of his favorite games of all time. It's just not something I picked up when they re-released it, especially after the sour taste in my mouth from Paper Mario and the Origami King. I feel like a lot of people might feel that way if Origami King was the first Paper Mario that you ever played, that you're uninterested in going back and playing other Paper Mario games, but I am willing to give this one a shot because of the fantastic things that I've heard about it. Luigi's Mansion 2, I'm going to put in B. I enjoy Luigi's Mansion a lot. It's not anywhere near as good as Luigi's Mansion 3, but I do enjoy Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I had a good time with it. I think because it was a 3DS game that got ported, there are some things that are just kind of mid about it, but I still enjoy the Luigi's Mansion aesthetic and the goofiness that comes with Luigi's Mansion. So for me, it's a B tier game despite some of the flaws it does have. Never played that. Mario Party Jamboree is the perfect Mario Party on the Nintendo Switch. It's fantastic. It's the best Mario Party on the console. If you like Mario Party, this is the one I recommend you get. Ignore the other two. Just get this one, especially because this is the one getting the Switch 2 update. It is the superior Mario Party experience on the Switch. I don't think there's a whole lot more you can really say about it outside of that. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I didn't play it. Unfortunately, I really wanted to play it. It just never got around to picking it up. It is one that I will be picking up soon along with Metroid Dread. Those are the two games on my list of like Nintendo Switch stuff that I need to get back to. Those are at the tippy top of my list because I loved Link's Awakening so much that I know I'm going to love Echoes of Wisdom and the way that game plays. But I really want to pick that up with Metroid Dread. Those are the two I would say on the need to go back to list that are at the tippy top of that list. I'm actually going to move them there right now. Mario & Luigi Brothership, didn't bother picking it up. I heard the reviews were terrible. As far as Mario RPGs go, I'm just not a huge fan of how a lot of the Mario RPGs work and play, so I never bothered picking this up, especially after the reviews came out for this game. Just wasn't something I was particularly interested in. Donkey Kong Country Returns, I did not pick this up as well, and I'm not even willing to put it on the list when I have to go back to Tropical Freeze still. I've heard Tropical Freeze is just leaps and bounds better, so I'd rather get that than Donkey Kong Country Returns. So for me, I'm going to put it in the never played category. Xenoblade Chronicles X is one that I'm going to add to the need to go back to list, simply because of the fact that, again, I haven't picked it up. It's another one of those Xenoblade games that I need to go back and play after playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I just haven't had the time to get back to, especially with the length of the Xenoblade games. Just not something I was willing to buy and not have the time to put into. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4, it's not coming out yet. I'm going to play it on the Switch too, not on the Switch, so we're not even going to bother talking about the game. But as far as my must-play list goes, it is Breath of the Wild, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, good lord, Super Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros, Cadence of Hyrule, Super Mario Maker 2, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Xenoblade Chronicles, Splatoon 3, Metroid Prime Remaster, and Mario Party Jamboree. That puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Almost the top 15, but it's a top 16 list for the games I think you need to play from the original Nintendo Switch library. There are some games, obviously, that are on my need to go back to list that could probably go in that category once I get around to playing them. But as of right now, I feel pretty good about this list here. I feel pretty solidly about this particular list. So that is it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what would be on your must-play list from the original Nintendo Switch. I'm very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I just had to make this video because I thought it would be a lot of fun to just reminisce about the great times I had with the original Nintendo Switch before the Nintendo Switch 2 dropped. So hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and sub for more like this in the future. Also be sure to check out the Discord and talk Nintendo Switch in there, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.